two friends, as close as brothers. Until war forced them continents apart.
My son, a college graduate.
You should come home. Forgive me for what I have to tell you. Hassan is dead. A week before he died, he sent you a letter.
Now, to rescue his friend's son,
What happened to the boy? The Taliban took him.
he must journey to a land he no longer knows.
We need to go back to Kabul.
This fall,
So what brings you back to Afghanistan?
I'm going to find a boy. His father meant a lot to me.
one of the most beloved stories of our time,
Now there is a way to be good again.
becomes one of the most anticipated films of the year.
You know what they will do to you if they see you're clean shaving.
From the director of Finding Neverland and Monsters Ball,
I dream that my son will grow up to be a good person. A free person. I dream that someday you will return to revisit the land of our childhood. I dream that flowers will bloom in the streets again. And kites will fly in the skies.
Hello, I'm Christiane Amanpour. The film you're about to see, A Mighty Heart, describes the search for Daniel Pearl, the American journalist, musician and humanist who was kidnapped and murdered by terrorists in Karachi, Pakistan in 2002. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, as of June 2007, 56 journalists were killed during the previous year, and 134 journalists were imprisoned all around the world. And these numbers are increasing every year. They are horrific statistics. Journalists are people's lifeline to what's happening in the world. I am one of those journalists, and Danny was a colleague in the battle for truth. We face dangerous situations when we cover stories, but we are now targets of governments, of groups and individuals who want to silence us, not only for what we write, but for what we represent. You can help. The Daniel Pearl Foundation was formed by his family in Danny's memory to further the ideals that inspired his life and his work. I'm a board member, and the Foundation's programs use journalism, music, and dialogue to promote understanding and respect for people's differences. By supporting the Foundation, everyone can champion the crucial work of journalists and reporters all around the world. Together, we can all counter the hatred that took Danny's life. Tolerance, understanding, acceptance, and courage. Daniel Pearl stood for all of those. Log on to www.danielpearl.org and help make those noble ideals a reality and fulfill Danny's dream.
The day after 9/11, Danny and I flew to Pakistan. He was the South Asia bureau chief for the Wall Street Journal, and I was working for French public radio. Thousands of journalists from all over the world arrived in Islamabad to cover the war in neighboring Afghanistan. On the 7th October, the bombing began. The forces of the Taliban government were rapidly overwhelmed. And with the end of the war, many journalists moved on. Danny and I stayed, reporting on nuclear weapons, Al-Qaeda, secret jihadi training camps, and the million refugees still living in Peshawar, the birthplace of the Taliban. As the hunt for bin Laden continued in the mountains of Tora Bora, many fighters slipped back across the border into Pakistan, looking for a safe place to regroup. And many people in Pakistan saw America as the enemy and the Taliban as their Muslim brothers. By the end of January, I was 5 months pregnant, and we were ready to go home. But there was one more interview that Danny wanted. We flew to Karachi, one of the largest cities in the world, the main port of entry to and departure from Pakistan. A vast, sprawling, chaotic city where there are so many people, nobody knows how to count them. How do you find one man amongst all this?